You found yourself in another episode of Locked on Bulls. On today's episode, me and Pat are going to discuss Zach LaVine's rumored value, according to Frank Katz. We're also going to talk about the Bulls' ranking in the Central Division and who's going to be more to blame if the Bulls season is not successful. We're going to talk about all that and more on today's Locked on Bulls.
You are Locked on Bulls, your daily podcast on the Chicago Bulls, part of the Locked on Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for tuning in to Locked on Bulls, member of the Locked on Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. That's Pat, the designer, host and creator of the Windy City Breeze, and host of the Chicago Bears podcast over at ESPN 1000. I'm Hayes, host and creator of Chicago Bulls and Chicago Bears Central's YouTube and podcast. But, Pat, let's get into it, man. So Frank Katz reported that the Knicks did make calls on Zach LaVine this offseason, and reportedly the Bulls wanted a giant offer back in regards to if they were even open to trading Zach LaVine. They wanted a giant package. But what do you make of that when you hear about Zach LaVine's reported trade value?
I'm not surprised by this. How many times are we going to do this? Like the surprise in people's voice when they're like, "Oh my God, the Chicago Bulls want Zach LaVine." Like, why are we still having this debate every 3 days? You want to know why? It's the offseason, and these morons have nothing to talk about. Like, there's just nothing. Like, at this point, we're just making stuff up, flying by the seat of our pants. There's no topics to break down, and so they just writing articles about anything. I would rather see that dude. Who's that dude that wrote the article about the Bears that literally just went, "There's nothing to talk about today"? Like, I would rather see that than just BS, same conversation. "Oh my God, the Chicago Bulls wanted a large package that's crazy, for Zach LaVine." It's like, how many times are we going to sit here and have this conversation? How many off seasons are we going to go into? How many trade deadlines are we going to go into where Arturas Karnisovas goes out and says, "Okay, you want Zach LaVine? Send me 2 first-round picks, send me 2 players, and send me a young rising star." And people are going to go, "He's not worth that much." He knows it. He knows he's not worth that much, and he knows only an idiot would pay it. And I wish some of the people that were writing these stupid articles were running the team so that somebody could be stupid enough to pay the price.
Yeah, I mean, hey, the Knicks ain't got nothing we want on top of everything else. Like as me and you have already talked about multiple times. What if they include Tom Thibodeau in that trade? What
no, I don't want him back.
Nikola Mirotic is also a free agent. Let's go ahead and just run them both back.
Let me remember Thibs as who he is and not who he has become, or who he was, not who he has become. Because, man, as the hair gets thinner, the personality goes with it, bro.
Tom Thibodeau never really had a personality, though.
You know what it is, though? Here's the thing about Thibs to me. Like, everybody always complains about it. Thibs just needs that right team, and I don't know if that right team is ever going to be around him again. You need a Jimmy Butler. You need a Derrick Rose. You need a Joakim Noah. You need those guys that are going to sit there and look you in your face and literally just go. Joakim Noah literally told Thibs, I think he said this on the pod, he said he looked at Thibs in the face and was just like, "Man, if we didn't win, I'd hate you." And Thibs was like, "The feeling's mutual." Like, you have to have that kind of team for Thibs to be an effective coach. And that team doesn't exist in the modern NBA because Jordan Poole's dad is still crying about him getting punched in the face and him not throwing a punch back. How about you train your son to fight back? Like, Jesus Christ, what are we talking
about? I mean, listen, when you train your kids never mind. I can't make that joke on Locked On. I've been saving my job a lot here lately,
bro. You've been doing a good job. I thought that was it. I thought that the extra bit of money was coming my way. Maybe I offered kids a job. I don't know, man. We'll see.
But man, I mean, nobody should be surprised by this. The Bulls do not want to move off this core. They will if the right deal comes available, but like ultimately this team wants to be able to find the right balance. That's AK's model. That's what he did over in Denver. That's what he's trying to bring over here. They really just need to develop a little bit better, draft a little bit better. We're talking about this team completely differently, but like it's going to be a minute before this team tries to move off Zach LaVine. It just is what it is. Now, I will say this. If we have a completely disappointing season, which we're going to talk about in the last topic, some things may change. But I don't think that level of disappointment is coming. I actually think we're going to have a pretty damn good season this year, if I'm being 100% honest.
I just think we're going to get back to what we were, and what we were was okay. You know what I mean? Like 45 wins. Ain't that what we won 2 years ago? What did we get? 46 wins, right? 46 wins to finish out the season. And the second half of the season was atrocious because we lost Lonzo and had nothing to go on, and DeMar DeRozan was running on fumes. Like, okay, like we're gonna get back probably to there, and want to know what's gonna happen. All these same people that are just like, blow it up, it makes no sense, why are we doing this, are gonna be right on the other side of this mug, sitting there talking about, man, I'm really glad that he held on to this core. I was riding with y'all the whole way. Shut up. We saw the comments. We saw the dog. Yeah, I mean, like it's one of those things to me where the plan don't work until the plan works, right? Remember, they were crazy to keep Jamal Murray. Why would you want to draft Michael Porter Jr.? There were people that were happy that we got Wendell Carter over Michael Porter Jr. Ugh. Like, what are we talking about here? Oh, you had a back injury. Yeah, we talked about 3 dudes now that have had back injuries and have come back and been pretty impactful players. One of them just won the MVP. So to me, it's not one of those things that I don't see this Bulls team moving off of a Zach LaVine anytime soon, unless it is something where somebody shows some promise. But behind Zach LaVine, that's kind of crazy. Somebody shows some promise on the come up, right? And like a Patrick Williams or a come up I can get away with. Come on, y'all, don't look at me like that. Come up is fine. Relax. Somebody show some promise like a Patrick Williams or a Dalen Terry or a Julian Phillips. It's the only scenario where you're gonna get rid of Zach LaVine, and even in that situation, you're probably still not getting rid of Zach LaVine. Don't you get out of here, Tony Brothers? Don't you technically?
He's reviewing the call. He's reviewing the call.
Don't you tech me up, Tony Brothers? You get out of here.
No tech. You got saved on that one. No tech.
Now he gonna call me. He gonna call me. Hey, Tony Brothers a wild boy, dog.
Hey, bro, that's funny, man.
Hey, bro, Spencer Dinwiddie just was in the post game, like he called me a bit. Like I didn't know what to do. Like, called me a bit.
Oh man, ultimately, like I've already seen some Bulls fans saying that the Bulls are crazy for whatever. Like, at the end of the day, do you really want RJ Barrett on this team? Because that's what they were going to have. Like, if you are a Bulls fan and you say to me with a straight face, you would rather have RJ Barrett on this team than Zach LaVine, I don't know, bro. Somebody may have to smack your mama. I really don't know what else to say on that.
It's one of those things where you know what it is. It's the society that we're in now. If I don't win right away, give up. If I don't succeed right away, give up. That's the mentality that a lot of y'all have. That's why y'all sitting in your mama's basements commenting about basketball that you ain't never played. Like, the mentality that people have nowadays is the dumbest thing in the world. I love that anonymous source in the front office who was like, what are we supposed to do? Just give up? We're not supposed to try and win games? Like, the point of playing a sport, at least when we grew up, at least when I grew up, was to try to win. Like, I get it. You want to go out and get a championship. It must be like, well, at the end of the day, like, if you're not going to win the championship, what are you competing for? To try. Like, the point is to try to win. That's the point of sports. The only one person can win it all at the end of the day, and you just want to give yourself the best chance to try and do that. And for some reason, the modern world thinks the best chance to try and do that is to suck. And that's the dumbest thing that I've ever heard in my life. And I'm so sick of hearing it. I'm a little spicy tonight. Well,
no, it's the microwave mindset that we live in. Like, with that's the culture that we live in now. Everybody wants it now, and people don't have like you said. As soon as somebody's not something that they want, it's ship them out. And then it's like, have we not been on the wrong end of that so much over here over the last handful of years?
The fans that comment on these videos, and I'm not saying all of them, but y'all know who y'all are. The fans that comment on these videos, the things that I always think about is y'all would have gave up on Michael Jordan.
Oh, for sure.
Y'all would have gave up on anybody outside of Magic Johnson who came in and won his rookie year. Y'all would have gave up on so many Hall of Fame. You'd have gave up on Kobe. Oh, Kobe can get the job done, but he's not greater than. Yeah, y'all would have gave up on Shaq. Like, what are we talking about here? You think Orlando feels good about giving up on Shaq? Like, they've been poverty ever since. They had a flash in the pan with Dwight Howard, who Whoo, talk about your flash in the pan. Anyway, let's go on to the next.
Hey,
topic,
bro,
man.
Dwight Howard news is crazy right now. Hey, listen, Dwight Howard out here being a bandit. That's all I'm gonna say, bro. We're gonna leave it at that. That was, yeah. Hey, shout out to Dwight Howard. Stay over there in China, my boy, because apparently you got some charges waiting on you when you get back stateside. But we're gonna go ahead and move forward.
Charges involved in this
Bro,
too. I didn't see that day.
There are charges involved, bro.
Hey,
like,
now we know why he in China. That's why.
Listen. Dwight, we know why Dwight Howard learned that Euro step over there in China. We're gonna leave it at that. Next up,
let me sidestep this.
We're going to be talking about where the Bulls rank in the Central Division. But before we get into that, I got to talk to you guys about one of our sponsors, and that is FanDuel. Take your first swing at betting MLB on FanDuel and get 10 times your first bet amount in bonus bets up to $200. That's right. Just bet $20 and you'll land $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. That's $200 you can spend betting on everything from the money line to the over-under to who you think's going to hit the first home run. All in one app that's safe, secure, and easy to use. Plus, when you win, you get paid instantly. There's no better place to bet on MLB than FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. So sign up today and visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get up to $200 in bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon. FanDuel, official partner of Major League Baseball. All right, Pat. So we had a conversation that got a little people riled up in the comment section, but it is what it is there in regards to the Bulls making the playoffs. But let's talk about where the Bulls rank within our own division. So in the Central Division, of course, is the Milwaukee Bucks, Cleveland Cavaliers, Chicago Bulls, Indiana Pacers, Detroit Pistons. Pat, where do you have us ranking in our division going into next season?
I would say tied for third right now.
Okay.
I think Indiana and us are probably tied for third, just because even with what Halliburton's been able to do, right? Is he going to take that superstar step? I think there's a lot. Now, listen, he's a lot younger, so it's a lot better. But I think he is at that same, right, like the Zach LaVine type of player where it's like, okay, if he takes his next step, he's going to be unstoppable. What is going to be the ceiling of that team? I would still give the Cavs 2. I'm still going with the Bucks 1. I mean, listen, stop Giannis. You know what I mean? I think the Bulls are probably tied for third right now. I mean, you could argue fourth in all honesty, depending on what Javon Carter is going to be able to come out and contribute right away. And what the Bulls, I guess, continue to add. But, like, I don't think us adding a Christian Wood or an Unalot Bidham or any of that is going to sway our opinions too much on where this roster.
What are you talking about? If according to the chat, if we add Christian Wood, we're a title contender, bro. Hey, that's just what it is.
I ain't seen that,
bro.
Who said that, bro?
It's everything because I've been trying to be a better person. There were so many people in the comment section on yesterday's video that I just want to flame. And you made it too easy. But I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to take the low-hanging fruit.
I think the amount of people who listen, if this is all I ask people to do. If we're going to understand how the modern NBA is being run, let's dig into analytics just a little bit. It don't have to be everything, but you do got to understand them just a little bit. I just want y'all to understand the on-off numbers, right? Like if you look at the on-off numbers, you'll know why Christian Wood is not a good defender.
It's
like
bad.
Muz was really sitting here like, you overblowing the defense.
You're taking the narrative. No, I'm watching the basketball. Christian Wood is an absolutely terrible defender. But even with that said, it's so funny that they came out your opinion with that because you still were supportive of what he brings offensively.
I love him offensively. Yeah. Like listen, here's the funny part about him, and this is what you really got to understand. Bad attitude will screw you out of a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
He's
Mark
gonna
Jackson
get a
is still waiting right now, looking at
bro. He's like a what was he last year? 18-8, something like that. 18-8, and he's gonna get like $2 million because he's a douchebag apparently to his teammates.
That's funny.
Like, all right, that's tough.
But to get back on the topic of where we rank in the Central, when you look at the rosters in the Central, which roster do you think with either the additions they made or just pure off development do you think is ready to make that next leap? I'm looking. You mentioned Halliburton, and I agree with that, but I'm also looking at his backcourt mate and Benedict Mathurin. If Benedict Mathurin hits a second-year leap, I agree with you now that the Pacers and the Bulls are probably even. I know some Bulls fans are going to say, how can you pick that when they got Tyrese Halliburton? We should have drafted him over P. Will.
We should have.
But if we should have. I don't know. Listen, I don't agree with that. There's two. Like if we would have drafted Tyrese Halliburton over Patrick Williams and then Walker Kessler instead of Dalen Terry, we're a completely different spot right now. Those two alone. But with that said, what roster do you look at that's ready to make that next leap in the Central Division, if any?
I mean, I don't even. Are you saying like of the rosters at the bottom?
Yeah. So we know that the Bucks and Cavs, Bucks and Cavs 1-2.
Yeah.
When you look at the Pistons, the Pacers, the Bulls, is there anyone that you think, without seeing it right now, that's primed and kind of ready to make that next leap to actually contend within the division?
Pistons are kind of slowly becoming the Lions. Where like I look at their roster every year and I'm like, okay, I kind of see where this is gonna take a jump. And then like I feel like every year we've said this is gonna take a jump. Another year goes by and a jump isn't taken. So they kind of got to prove it to me. I'm gonna be honest with you. I want to say the Bulls just because there is more of that veteran presence, and we've seen how this team has improved vastly with a point guard, especially a defensive-minded point guard. So I do think the Bulls are poised to take a leap. I'm not counting out the Pacers at all, though. Like the Pacers to me I think that they're a team that intrigues me so much because even though they dealt with some injuries too, down the stretch, they just looked lost. And they got to a certain point where they were like, okay, we're kind of done here. Like we're going to accept our fate. We're going to go into the draft. We're going to try and add a piece here. But I do feel like there is a more of the Bulls to me could take a leap next year. There's more longevity with what the Pacers have. Like I think when the Pacers take a leap, the Pacers are going to take a leap.
That's fair. That's absolutely fair. I mean, unless Kobe, P. Will, Julian Phillips, or somebody changes that mindset on it, they are definitely ready.
I can look at 3 young guys on the Pacers team, and I would take all of them over the Chicago Bulls young guys. Like, it's that bad, bro. Like, that tells you kind of where like, our leap is literally like, I think DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine and Nikola Vucevic will play well with a point guard. 2 of those guys are 33 and 34.
That's hilarious. Yeah, and they added Jarace Walker as well to that front court. I think him and Miles Turner on the Pacers can be a nice front court. Yeah. We already know the backcourt's locked in. Do you think Ben Mathurin actually starts more games next season instead of comes off the bench?
I think they like him coming off of the bench as that 6-man role. I think they like his fit with that, which is it's weird to have like a young guy come in and basically just fall right into that 6-man role, but he did. I mean, listen, like it's not like the 6-man isn't a guy that's getting serious minutes, right? Like Manu Ginobili was a 6-man his whole career, and my guy, we sat there and talked about him like he was, an all-time legend starter. So I think they kind of like him in that role. Plus, Rick Carlisle, if I'm not mistaken, from the pop tree, kind of feels like he's trying to build this team similar to that.
I agree with that. And that's the longevity plan. I like the way that the Pacers are building. I really like what they're doing over there in Indiana. And we'll see what's going on with the Pistons are just a team that's so hard for me to gauge, man. They have some young players that I really do like on that team, but it's like, I don't know if it's just the water in Detroit or what it is. They just never come together.
I mean, coaching change is going to be a big thing, right? You got Monty Williams there. We've seen Monty Williams do really good with young players. So I think that is going to make a difference. They got Asher. They got Asher, right? Which Thompson twin did they get? Amon?
The Pistons?
Yeah. They get Amon or Asher?
Asher.
Asher.
Is that how you pronounce it?
I don't know. Asher. I don't know. I want to be the very best. That's what I say. But they got I like how he fits in with that Pistons team. I think that team is so heavily dependent on how Cade is able to come back. Already having surgery. I mean, Cade looked really good before he had his knee cleaned up. Finally got the knee cleaned up. So I think that there could be an opportunity there for Cade
Even though the pictures that came out of Cade, he's looking a little bone crusher-ish there.
I'm okay. I hate that every offseason because it's like they play basketball. Like literally training for basketball is run. Like it's like he's gonna
I'm
get
not
that
even talking about his size or weight. That's not, I mean, like he just looks stressed out. Like the dude don't look like his girl must have left him, bro. He's looking mighty stressed over there, bro. Mighty stressed over there.
Oh man, he plays in Detroit, bro. Like what you expect from him, bro? I mean, what are you really looking for from my man? Remember Matt Stafford in Detroit versus Matt Stafford in LA, bro? It was like, hey man,
that's funny.
What'd you do when you got off the plane? Weed.
All right. Before we get into the next topic, we're going to talk about who's more to blame if this Chicago Bulls season does go left yet again. Before we do that, I want to remind you guys that Locked On Bulls is free and available on every podcasting app and platform of your choice, as well as YouTube and the Odyssey app. Make sure you guys check us out there as we're dropping the fire content all throughout the offseason. But let's go ahead and get into it. All right, Pat. So I presented a question to you before we started recording, and we're going to bring it up here. If the Bulls season does go left and is negative, who do you think is going to be more to blame? Are we looking at the roster? Are we looking at the coach? Are we looking at the front office? When you look at that kind of just, again, we're going into it blind. For all we know, we can have a 50-win season in front of us. But if things do go bad and we are unsuccessful yet again at even making the playoffs and going through the play-ins again and losing there, who's more to blame to you?
Front office to me.
Okay.
What sets you back? Lonzo Ball signing, guys not developing. And as much as we want to sit here and say, oh my God, the coaches are the reason that guys aren't developing, you've also drafted a ton of projects. Patrick Williams is a project. I love the intangibles. I love the size. I love the listen, me and Hayes saw this mug up close. I 100% get why AK thinks that he can be a Kawhi type player. Like when you see him like move people, you're just like, oh, he's actually just stronger than everyone. Mm-hmm. But you don't have the right mindset. So you missed on guys who do have killer, who are young players, and guys like Tyrese Halliburton, right? Tyrese Halliburton's a killer. And my favorite thing from the offseason is when who was it in the playoffs? They took the deep, was it Jordan Poole? He took like a deep three. And it might have been in the West Conference Final. He took like a deep three that if he makes it, they win the game, but they end up losing. And everybody was like, you can't take that shot. And Tyrese Halliburton was like, I take that shot. Like I would have taken that shot every time. And guess what, Bulls fans? We know he takes that shot. He's killed us twice with it on game winners. I mean, Pat Bev's still looking up. But it's there are too many players that you hitched your wagon to that have done nothing. I mean, Patrick Williams, okay, let's hope that this year, right? Let's hope last year was basically him getting back to an even plane coming off of an injury, and now this year is going to be a jump. I don't know if I see it coming, but maybe, right? That's kind of what we've said the last 3 years. Meanwhile, Tyrese Halliburton keeps balling.
Keeps improving.
Let's hope that we just hitched our wagon to Kobe White, and he's actually going to turn into a player who gets to that next level on a consistent basis. He's a guy that absolutely can go out there and put up 15 to 20 points a night, but doesn't do that on a consistent basis just yet. He'll have a hot couple of months. I mean, Ayo Dosunmu, you kind of think you saw something there, but you hitched your wagon to Marko Simonovic, who never played a second. Yeah, I mean, so I'm looking at the front office with a ton of question marks on a lot of these guys that you've hitched your name to. And I mean, heck, how you just hitched yourself to Julian Phillips on a 4-year deal, right? Like he's what did I say? He's a second rookie to get a deal like that. That was a second round pick.
Yeah.
Like you're making like AK is making Ryan Pace commitments. That's what we're seeing here, and triggered, Band-Aid off,
I hate
whatever
you
it
for
is.
making that comparison. Matter of fact, get off the show, bro. Like
y'all stay blessed out
there. Yeah. That's it. We want to thank you and wish Pat the designer well in his future endeavors. Bring my brother back on. Oh,
future endeavors. I'm fired.
Oh man, but no. I think it makes sense to blame the front office, and I think you have to look at that as well. But I the thing is that the fact of the matter is this, is that the front office is the one leading the charge, right? And so they just got contract extensions too last offseason that we found out about this offseason. So,
an undisclosed amount of time yet again.
Exactly, bro. We have no idea how long anybody's still here.
When is AK's contract up?
We don't know.
Let's take a look here. 30, 35?
Is that when Billy Donovan's may be up at the same time? He signed that extension. We still have no details on the extension. None. Like, you have to file paperwork on extensions to the league offices. Has AK and everything just said, "Hey, league, we'll send it to you when we send it to you"? Like, what's happening here?
Here's the thing, and this is, maybe I just don't remember this. Did we know their original terms?
Yes, we know that Billy. This is technically supposed to be Billy Donovan's last year left on his contract.
I don't even remember their original terms being released like that. Like, I remember being on a video and going, we don't know the terms yet. I'll update you when that happens.
And you never updated it.
I don't remember it ever happening. We still haven't updated that video.
That's
from
hilarious.
4 years ago.
That's funny. Man, that's crazy. I
don't remember AK's original contract length either. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, dog. Like,
now AK's, I don't. I will say that I have no idea how long AK's.
I feel like they're getting just a check every 2 weeks. They're just
every 2
employed.
weeks, bro. That's funny.
They're just employed, bro. They own hourly, bro.
That's hilarious, bro. That is funny. Who the hell knows, bro? Everybody, the only people we know who's going to be around for a certain amount of time is the players. Like, so yeah, it looks like Billy Donovan initially signed a 4-year, $24 million deal with the Chicago Bulls.
Okay,
but we have no idea how long the extension is for.
Okay,
so
that's crazy. Anyway, the point that you were making about who you were blaming.
I don't even know anymore, because now I'm just pissed off again that we don't know how long any of these people are still gonna be here, bro. Like, what's happening? What is happening, bro? What's going on here? Did he sign another 4-year deal? We're gonna have 8 years of Billy Donovan.
Bro, them mother signed that man to a contract and said, as long as Jerry's heart keeps beating, you will be. long as Jerry is alive, bro.
You know, Jerry, you know what? Jerry has that device implanted in his heart. It was from a movie. I can't remember what movie it is. That, well, evil never dies. But that
all right.
Once Jerry Reinsdorf does depart this planet, the United Center just blows up. Whoever's in it is in it. Like, it just, at the same time, it just blows up.
There's gonna be such a Michael's probably gonna keep the team money-wise, but like, and not, listen, I'm not wishing that on Jerry. I'm not one of those fans
of course.
either.
We wish
must be weird about that.
Hire us for the Reinsdorf Network.
I remember somebody did that in the comments, and I had to check them. It was like, bro, that's somebody's dad. Like, that's somebody's grandfather. Like, don't be a douchebag. But it is one of those things, like, I do think about, like, what's actually going to happen with the organizations that he owns. Like, we've seen people who just literally, the Warts family, right? The Warts were like, okay, let's go win championships now. But we've also seen people that are like, I don't want any part of this anymore. Like, somebody else come get this. Like, can you think about that, dog? A time where the Chicago Bulls and the Chicago White Sox aren't owned by Reinsdorfs.
I don't think it'll ever happen in our lifetime, bro. Because Michael still loves the team. So I don't think that Michael's
here's the thing. I think Michael loves the Bulls. I don't think Michael will sell the Bulls.
You think he'll sell the Sox?
I think maybe the Sox. I don't know if Michael loves the Sox. I think Jerry loves the Sox, but he don't love them. Jerry loves the Sox like he loves his kids. Like, y'all get to come along for the ride.
All right, it's time to go. Go ahead and wrap up the show. Give us social media. Let's get up out of here, bro.
Follow us on everything at Locked On Bulls. You can follow me on everything at Pat the Designer. Jerry, don't we'll never get known that Bulls network, bro.
Bro, it's not happening, bro. We completely shot ourselves in the foot on that one. You guys can follow me at CEO Hayes, the CEO Haize. We want to thank you guys for making Locked On Bulls your first listen every day, man. We'll be back tomorrow again with another episode going over whatever's going on with the Bulls, man. But y'all make sure y'all stay tuned in with us. For Pat the Designer, I'm Hayes. This has been Locked On Bulls. We about you. Peace, y'all.
Jerry, you think we can get on that network? I don't like the show you do. Very, very bad. It never was going to be broadcast. We were never going to bring them back. Is that soup?